Good now, everybody, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. So excited to be here with you today. This is your place for live, helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions, and it's only missing you. My friends, let me know how you're doing today. Happy Monday. Today is September 16th. What kind of dialect is that? September 16th. September 16th. We're so glad you're here today. I'm going to be joined a little later on by my colleague, Mr. Will Watson. Mr. Alex Popovich is feeling a little bit under the weather today. I'm so sorry to say. So let me know how you're doing. I see Keith is here. Kay Mary, good to see you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me this fine Monday morning or afternoon or night. It's morning somewhere, so time to rise up. Hope it was an uneventful weekend for you. Or if it was eventful, that was positively so. I have the microphone today and the earbuds because I thought since Alex wasn't here in person,
Hey, man.
that he could join us in spirit because soundboard Alex is my next favorite thing. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're thinking about today, this Monday morning, while I get my coffee and my notepad ready. And then, and tell me also, what are you seeing around the crypto space right now? I have mostly been in education land this last weekend, just trying to help people get their heads around what's going on with services like their favorite wallet provider. But I'm noticing a popular story in the crypto sphere that's developing, at least where I live in the crypto sphere, is the purported launch of World Liberty Financial. This is the Donald Trump Jr., Barron Trump DeFi visionary project that I'm not certain Donald Trump Sr. is actually involved with. Apparently, he's supposed to make an announcement later today introducing this platform to the world. I don't know if we're going to get that or not, but we certainly will see. Let me know if you know more than I do. Is this like his NFT project where it was just somebody licensing his image and everybody made a big hoopla about it? Or is this, in fact, Donald Trump going full DeFi? I would love to know if you've got the inside scoop. Otherwise, we're going to look into it here together. And, of course, if you've got crypto questions, would love to hear those too. But that's going to be my first order of business is I was digging around a little bit about it, and I couldn't find anything about it and thought we'd find it together. I also want to take this opportunity to tell you, thank you for making this the most trusted crypto educational live space on TikTok. The testimonials and reviews we've gotten have really just made it clear that that's the strong suit here, that more than anything, all of you trust us to deliver helpful news, to be straightforward, to be clear, to be simple with you. And so we really, really value that. If you are looking for more better crypto educational content, then give us a try. We're live Monday through Thursday to share helpful news, to answer your questions. We've got a free newsletter with the best, briefest bits, because who has time to join a live show 4 days a week? And all the episodes that go to YouTube. So if you have a sick day like Alex does, you can catch up with us. Now, I do want to say to all of our folks who are here every day hanging out with us, you are the best part of this show. And if you want to be part of that community, learners at all levels of experience, then you need to check out the Discord. It's discord.gg/riseup. We got that vanity bumper sticker, baby. That's how you know we're big time now. We have all kinds of good stuff there for you. You can post longer comments there. You can, of course, ask us your crypto questions here, but that's the best place if you want to share a link, you want to share a project you're looking into, or you just want feedback to build relationships with more crypto learners, then you really should be in the Discord server. Discord.gg/riseup. Totally free to get in there. Only thing missing is you. Good morning, Dad. Every time I say that, I think I'm talking to my dad. For the people on YouTube, I'm just reading our friend Dad's name. Ah, how great. Mary, I'm so glad to hear it. Read, Write, Own. It's back there on my bookshelf in an old cigar box. Chris Dixon's book is, I think, the best book out right now, explaining to everyday people what blockchain is, what Web3 is, how to get on chain, why it matters. Read, Write, Own. Go read it if you haven't. What do you think so far? I would love to know what your feedback is. Let me see, Sonoran. I saw your live the other night. You're talking about my music. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Or a solution, we were just talking about it before you came in. World Liberty Finance. What do we think about it? Apparently, it's launching today. I don't know enough about it to have an opinion about Trump's involvement. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. But I do have a little bit of thoughts about what we know of the platform so far. And I'll get into that in just a second. Let me get caught up on these comments. That'll be our first story of the day. Unexpected pump for Turbo before rate cuts because of a new Binance listing makes for a good Monday. Well, I'm glad to hear that. The one where the man was jamming. Yeah, that was the name of the episode, Machiste. You know it. I hope to go live more often with music from Memphis. I got a new setup that allows me to do it a little more easily. For everybody who doesn't know, in addition to being the host of this wonderful crypto show, I spend my time performing. I have a TV show. It's not my TV show, but I'll be on a major network television show for the first time in many years in October. I'm in a show called Hysteria. I'm just a co-star in one episode, so it's like, not a big deal, but it could be a big deal. Got to work in Atlanta, get exposed to a lot of producers there, and I play a lot of music all around Memphis here, mostly just cover songs, but I love to share that kind of thing with everybody too. Thank you, Crypto Guy. Good to see you. And it was good to see you listening to the music. That's AZ Uber Guy. So what's going on with Trump? He's making some sort of crypto announcement. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's get into it. Would I pin the name of the book? You know what? I don't know that can I pin comments right now while I don't have guests? I might be able to. Somebody comment Read, Write, Own by Chris Dixon. That would be so helpful to me, and then I will pin it. It's such a shame you can't pin comments when guests are here. I will pin that momentarily, and then we'll get into this Trump story. Let me just pull it up real quick so that anybody who's not caught up can play along. I don't know what's going on with my my GPT. I love using GPT for some reason instead of Google, but I don't appear to be logged in. What's going on, OpenAI? When fix, Sam Altman? Fine. We can just ask this one. And yes, AZ Uber Guy, I live in Memphis. I am not from here, but I live here now. The first weeks I moved here, somebody said to me, they said, "Boy, what's your daddy's name?" And I said, "You don't know my daddy." I wasn't sure if it was a come on or if it was more. I came to learn it was a Southern gentry thing. All right, so let's see if we can get an answer to this question. If GPT is going to give me help here or no. It looks like no. Okay, no problem. So the Trump project, my understanding is that this is not necessarily a project that is built by Donald Trump. It is a crypto platform controlled by his sons, Eric and Donald Jr., with Barron named in the white paper. A DeFi platform that we have had leaks about that is similar to, I've already forgotten the platform's name. For some reason, the name Pork is sticking in my head, but that's not it. Pork Cork Finance. It was a fork of Aave. Very popular DeFi protocol that launched many years ago, has generated millions of dollars in revenue. And perhaps the best thing I can say about Aave, aside from how usable and functional it is, Aave, by the way, is spelled AAVE. Go look it up. It's a great history lesson, and we can dive into all the different things it does. But Aave, if you're new to the crypto space, is a protocol kind of like Uniswap that everybody else who came after has copied or forked the code. It was sort of the real McCoy of its time. Many DeFi platforms have been brought to light since that were just copies and pastes in a different wrapper of something that Aave did. And this appears to be no exception. Except what people are discussing is there is a governance token presumably the token that Trump is supposed to announce today, that speculatively, we haven't had this confirmed yet, is going to be soul bound to the people it's distributed to. One of the problems with governance tokens is, or has been, that people can buy and sell them. And as you might imagine, if you want to be a governor of something, then one, you probably shouldn't be able to buy the right to govern, because a really rich person could just come in and buy all the influence and power. And if there's a lot of assets on a platform or a lot of people use it, you know what I mean? That'd be like buying an election. And the other thing about governance tokens is if they are speculative, they become really volatile. If people can buy and sell them, and it's a hot new DeFi platform and it's tied to Donald Trump, then many people would want to invest in this as a way to gamble, right? They want to get in early so that they can make a profit and sell their tokens. But if this token is soul bound, or at least if it's locked in some way so that people who receive it for their work as governors cannot just sell it, then it might have a better chance to function as a governance token. Because the only way to get it is to earn it. Or once you earn it, you can't just offload it onto other people, which is interesting because it might discourage people from paying attention to the platform because they can't speculate on it. Though I imagine that there are going to be many different ways to speculate on this platform. Really, that's the best summary I can give you, all the news we know. If you want to hear more people talk about it, you certainly can look it up. It's all over the internet right now. I would recommend that you would start with a real reputable news source like the Associated Press, who your favorite news source gets their news from. And then that you would go to if you want to hear more, a Crypto Native podcast. Unchained has talked about it in an episode that they do. I think they do it in one of their weekly roundup episodes. And then I think Bankless has talked about it also. But we'll be glad to cover it more on the show, and I'll be keeping my eyes on it when it launches, just to see what the actual details are. I do believe that this is a lot like many previous Trump projects where it is endorsed by Trump. It is not necessarily affiliated with him in the sense that he's in his office working on DeFi things. It sounds like very much this is his son's project. And you could imagine what it's like to be a son of Donald Trump, to want to have your own thing, to have, dad's prestige and dad's money. And his sons do have their own things, but to want to have something you own that's yours, to be able to go into the room with other people and say, I'm a founder. That would be something that would be desired, I would imagine, for them. And Trump has spoken about it several times on his platform. He's tweeted about it and supposedly is going to talk about it today. Interesting. Very interesting. And I do want to clarify that the other Trump projects, to my knowledge, except possibly this most recent NFT, are projects that are just like that, where Trump has endorsed them or he has licensed his image for people to use, but they are not Donald Trump writing a smart contract, going to his team and saying, I want the best DeFi. That's not what's happening here. Okay, let's see. Can I pin the comment? Anybody got it? Read right on. Let me see. We do it and see if he's got any more context for us. And I'm going to kick it to Soundboard Alex to introduce him.
Hey, man. Hello.
What's going on, Will?
Hey, I will turn my computer on in a second, but I'm currently underneath my desk fixing my computer. I will be on screen with my mighty chin in a moment. Apologize.
And that's just bullshit.
No problem. Soundboard Alex hates it. But
Oh, God, I didn't know Alex was in the room right back there. Oh, son of a bitch.
Absolutely die on this hill.
We're having a brief discussion about Donald Trump is supposedly going to officially announce, good morning, Mr. Chin, his son's DeFi project today, and we'll get confirmation or denial of all the different speculative details. That was our sort of lead-in story that we've been talking a little bit about.
Do you know what DeFi project I'm never going to use?
Which one? Yeah, exactly.
Like, why would
do you know
that?
The fork it's from? My GPT is not working today, and I don't have notes prepared on this. It's an Aave fork. The code was leaked, and I feel like it was called Cork Finance or Pork Finance or something like that. But now that you're here, maybe you can vamp a little bit, and I can look it up and confirm for people. How was your weekend, man?
The weekend was good. It was just like a nice summer weather again in Boston, which is nice, but the leaves are starting to change already. So starting to get some yellows in the trees. This is the leaves. This is them changing right here. But no, it's a beautiful like late summer, early fall weekend. Went, hung out, got a bunch of drinks with some friends. I have a friend in town who's a DJ, and she crushed it at this like Mexican joint, and we just started like salsa dancing, had a good time. And then yeah, dude, just fun. You know, took my girlfriend out to dinner to a couple Greek spots that we wanted to try. They were unfortunately not as good as our favorites, but yeah, no, whatever. You gotta try it all. But otherwise, dude, it was nice. It was chill. And then yesterday, just kind of hung out and then walked into like a different area of Boston we hadn't seen before. Found a cute little brunch spot. Found a shitty little place that makes actually bad croissants. They were bad. But you know, I was highly caffeinated. Found a flea market along the way. Almost walked away with an all fur vest, which would have been great for the Renaissance Fair on the 12th, which I'm going to with a bunch of friends, and I could have like barbarian cosplayed. Would have been perfect. But it was a good weekend. It was good solid weekend.
That sounds like a great weekend, man. Like one for the books. It pretty much just rained here, and I spent a lot of my time drying off dogs and then rehearsing music for my band. I'll tell you what, Will, if you lived closer, I'd be trying to borrow that vest for my 80s band. It sounds like something that one would want to wear on stage.
Oh, dude, it would be perfect. You have to go to flea markets. You got to go. Everyone, spend some time at flea markets. Go to some antique stores. If you live in a city, you'll have a few pop up. Otherwise, if you're out in the country, there's some around you. Go to some flea markets. You can find some good shit. Yeah. Anyway, highly recommend it. Go in. What's it called? Thrift. Go and thrift a bit. And then also, my girlfriend, she thrifted this like 70s jacket with like tassels and shit. You know, where it's like the 70s style was like, had like a little bit of like Native American vibes like thrown into it, right? So it's like very much so one of those jackets. And she's like, she's been saying for months, like, I can't wait for somebody to ask me like where I got this jacket. And we walk into the flea market. Someone goes, "Oh my God, I love your jacket. Where'd you get it?" And she was like, "I thrifted it." I was just like it was like one of those moments where like it's an anime and you're like blown away by it. And she's like, "Ha ha!" It was great. It was so. I was so happy for her as I was blown away. I was like, "I love you."
You were like,
Yeah,
exactly.
It was perfect. I was like, "It's the moment." It was perfect.
I'm really glad for her that she got to have that moment, because that sounds like it was just perfect.
Yeah, but then underneath that, she's like, "Oh my God, I finally got to say it." I was like, "You know why you feel good about that, right?" She's like, "Yeah, I know. It's like because you're basically telling people, yeah, and you can't get it. You know, like that's what she's like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "Okay, baby, come on." Yeah, but it was good. It was good. That was my weekend.
Man, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I'm glad you had a good weekend. I do have an answer, thanks to our friend Doug in the comments, that the Trump code, the World Liberty Financial Code, I'll stop referring to it as the Trump code, was from a DeFi protocol, Doe Finance, which was itself a fork of Aave. And go ahead.
I know Doe. I never used it, but like
you know,
I've
Doe?
heard of it before.
You might have heard of it because it was exploited. This is back in July, following a series of flash loan transactions. The hackers used some vulnerabilities in the smart contracts to steal a pretty significant quantity of wrapped ETH tokens and then ran away to Tornado Cash. So it's interesting because there was a leak from the GitHub repo for World Liberty Financial, and somebody did the side-by-side and they were like, "Oh, looks like they are forking Doe Finance." So for everybody in our comments, I saw Dab was saying, for example, he had money on the sidelines ready to invest. Whether or not you can even invest based on what I said earlier about the assignation of governance tokens remains to be seen. But if you do, you really should be careful, because if they're forking this code, which so far as I know has not been updated, that would be the kind of, I hate to say rookie mistake. That would be the kind of mistake I would expect a team that is new to crypto to make, is to fork a bad piece of code and not to be thinking about the vulnerabilities of users in that way. I'd want to see, who the team is, how they're securing it. I'd want to hear people who are experienced devs and coders give it a thorough look, and then I would consider touching it. Or I'd play with money I was absolutely ready to lose.
I just wouldn't touch a coin. I would not, and I'm not trying to say this from a political place. I'm saying this from like being a defensive with your money place, right? I would not be the first person in the door, at the very least, to run into the project of the son of someone who has gone bankrupt multiple times and of a project that is copying the code. I'd just be like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, maybe I'm interested, if there are some high yields or whatever, but like maybe in like month 2 of it being out, right? Maybe I'll then go explore it. And as an investment standpoint, I would stay away from it. If also like from a builder standpoint, you want the builder in the head of the project to be people who are like builders in the space, right? You want them to like, they came from the Uniswap team. They came from the Solana Foundation. You want them to be like crypto veterans to make sure that they're doing this correctly, to have good connections, they can get the partnerships they need. And like, yes, Trump has and his team have endorsed certain things, but would you consider them builders? I wouldn't. So I'd look at them as a team that is not as qualified as if it was like, somebody who is like really from the Web3 space. Then I'd be like, okay, cool. Maybe this project's legit. Maybe I can invest in this coin right out the gate. I don't really have any fears, at least too many fears. So like, that's something to think about just as like a cryptocurrency investor. When you're looking at the team, yes, you know who they are as public figures, sure. But if they are public figures and they don't have experience building in Web3 and developing these kinds of things and bringing them to market, making sure the code's good and all that kind of stuff, how good is it that they're a public figure,
Yeah, it's interesting too. I don't know they claim it's gonna be like a stablecoin governance protocol, but 70% of the tokens are going to be held by the founders, the team, and their service providers. There's going to be a public sale for the remaining 30%. And then insiders will also receive a portion of the proceeds from the public sale to support their operations. But they, as recently as just a few days ago, had not finalized their tokenomics yet. So, that's the other thing. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting.
It's a fork of a solution that was hacked or was used for a scam. It is also from a team that is not like really from the Web3 space building and delivering this. And also the supply is highly centralized amongst a small group of people.
Yeah. And you got to watch out because they already have been scammed. That with the high profile nature of this, they're going to be big time targets for scams. But it looks like Donald's daughter Tiffany was breached by hackers, her ex account. And it looks like there were a series of tweets that appeared to promote World Liberty Financial, also Eric's wife.
So that's
but the links were fraudulent. And I think it's pretty rich that Eric tweeted out, "This is a scam. Do not click on any links or purchase any tokens." But they also have been compromised in other instances with scammers who are targeting folks with promises of an airdrop. So if this is you, if you're following this story, if you're looking for it, absolutely make sure that you are double checking account names, that you are double checking links. Do not allow the fear of missing out on some sort of life-changing money to prompt you to click a bad link, do something quickly. There is no opportunity in crypto, whether it's World Liberty Financial or anything else, that you need to act on right now or you'll miss it. Like I don't know about you, Will, but I can count on 0 fingers the number of people I know who are like, oh, if only I had clicked that link 30 seconds sooner, I'd be rich. It's not worth it.
The only thing I can think of are examples where I would have spent money for like a concert or something. Like, damn it, I missed going and seeing the Wiggles live. Son of a bitch, they sold out so fast.
Jeff was my favorite. The purple one, I loved him.
Yeah.
I was not a Wiggle watcher, but my sister was, and I was, too cool for it. But I'd watch from over here, like, okay, Jeff.
But there was one comment earlier that someone asked, like, hey, other than rate cut decisions being made this week, which is Wednesday, by the way, everybody, I missed Taylor Swift. Damn, yeah. But what was I going to say? I got distracted.
You were going to talk about the upcoming numbers this week, I think.
Yeah. I was also going to say, like, I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, and then I wasn't going to say that because then people are going to unfollow me because, but I'm sorry, now I've said it. Yeah, so rate cut decisions being made Wednesday. Today we're getting manufacturing data in the United States, and then tomorrow we're getting retail sales data in the United States. We're getting jobless claims data. It's either Tuesday or Thursday. And also the Bank of Japan will announce if they are holding interest rates or hiking interest rates again on Friday. It's going to be a super, super, super volatile week, everybody. So like, hold on to your butts.
Put your seatbelt on.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And I really wanted to see Bitcoin get above 60,000 before we got further into this week, so that, you know, because you buy the rumor and you sell the news of events. So we're buying the rumor of really interest rate cuts being made by the Fed. And then once we get close to that, or potentially right when it happens, and it could happen sooner, you know, we'll see sell-off. If we were above 60,000, right, say this is 60,000, if we'd gotten above 60,000, and then we got the news of rate cuts, we could have come down and maybe turned 60,000 into support. But right now we're below it at 58,000. And when we sell off, we're going to be distancing ourselves from this key area of support that we need. So I'm looking at this. Oh, hang on. My robot's coming in here. He's going to be loud. 1 second. Oh, God.
Oh, no, Will.
Oh,
he
God.
got you, Will. He got
me.
you.
I was like, no. I was just watching him come and take out my cell phone stand.
Not ideal.
Cody, not ideal. Oh, that'll be a good clip. But yeah, so like we're right below a huge area of resistance, and we're gonna get the buy the rumor, sell the news. If on top of that, the Bank of Japan comes out on Friday and says they're gonna hike interest rates again, because remember, and some people, you might leave a comment real quick, you might be typing it right now. You're like, oh, but the Bank of Japan, they hiked rates back on July 31st. It caused a huge scare in markets. Markets sold off like crazy across the board. You guys may remember. They then came out and they were like, hey, we're not going to raise rates again if markets are weak. Right now, the stock market is right near an all-time high. They could very well look at that and be like, oh, the market's pretty strong right now. We can hike rates again, right? It's very subjective, the terms that they gave for them holding or hiking. And if they hike at the same time if Japan hikes rates at the same time as the United States lowers rates, that weakens the dollar and it strengthens the yen, which is the exact worst case scenario for getting a ton of foreign positions in Japanese markets liquidated, which could result in a really big sell-off, which is exactly what happened on July 31st, just FYI. So that would be like, do we want interest rates to be cut by the US? Of course we do. It increases liquidity. It increases the total amount of money in the system.
Yeah, it makes money cheaper.
Yeah, it makes money cheaper, right? You can borrow money. It's less expensive. The interest on the money that you borrowed is cheaper. So then more people do it. Money floats around. That money goes into investments. Things go up, particularly risk-on assets long term. But the weakening of the dollar and the strengthening of the yen is exactly the kind of thing that's going to cause problems in Japanese markets. So it could be like short-term pain, but long-term very good, which is another reason why this week is massive.
Gotcha.
It's a very, very, very big week.
Well, and when we get numbers, we'll definitely tell you about it here on the show. I wanted to slow things down just a little bit. We had 2 questions, and I'm sure folks might have some other rolling questions about interest rates or the news events, but that I think will be really helpful for some beginners, especially who are joining us today. If you're new, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Will, someone asked us, what is DeFi? And someone else asked us, what is TVL? We started off today with a conversation about a DeFi protocol, but maybe not a lot of people know what that is. So can you give a quick definition, Will, of what DeFi is, and then tell folks in the context of DeFi what TVL, the acronym, is and why it matters?
Yeah, sure. I think that's a great question. So before we talk about DeFi, let's talk about the world of finance right now that DeFi is disrupting. So the world of finance right now is you would go to a company like a Fidelity or a BlackRock or a Morgan Stanley, like some of those really big investment firms, if you want to go and invest in things like stocks and bonds or commodities like gold and silver and oil and stuff like that to trade, right, and to make investments. What DeFi is doing is DeFi is providing those same environments, the same environments where you can go and invest in things or even to get loans, right? Like, you know, like banking, like regular banks, you'd go to a bank and get a loan. But instead of doing it through a company, they're doing it through a decentralized application, which is a lot of the times referred to as a dApp, DAPP. And dApps are the things that have cryptocurrencies tied to them, right? So if you've heard of Uniswap, that is a cryptocurrency, but it is also a dApp, decentralized application, which is also a decentralized finance dApp, decentralized finance application. Okay, and what Uniswap is it's basically like a Fidelity or a Morgan Stanley or a BlackRock, where you can go to it, and instead of having all the fees associated with these companies providing you the service, you just go onto Uniswap. You'll have some fees there, but usually they're smaller if you're using a layer 2. And you then get to go and invest in cryptocurrencies. But because it's decentralized, another advantage you have is you can invest in assets that wouldn't be made available to you on something like a Coinbase, because Coinbase is regulated, it's centralized, it can't necessarily list everything. And a decentralized application can get you access to pretty much any asset you want to invest in. Or you also have lending protocols. Like I said, like basically a bank that's decentralized, but there's no company, it's just an application. And you can go and you can take loans in various cryptocurrencies. So that's DeFi. Decentralized finance is just taking the same services we've had available through companies, putting them into an application and making them cheaper and faster, right? And far more easily accessible to people across the world. And so that's it. Like that's how to think about it. The second part of the question was TVL.
TVL. Yeah.
TVL stands for total value locked. What that really is, it's just a measurement of the real dollars that are within a DeFi protocol. So I mentioned Uniswap before, right? Uniswap is the largest decentralized exchange in the world, and it has several billions with a B of real measurable dollars that are being used on it for people swapping from Ethereum to Uniswap or Ethereum to other cryptocurrencies or stable coins, things of that nature, and also staking and blah 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 blah, right? Actually, no, Uniswap's just a governance token. Does Uniswap have staking? I'm trying to remember. I get all
yes.
Yeah,
yes, they do.
And so and staking, if you don't know, is just the ability to take a cryptocurrency and earn interest off of it. It's like a dividend stock that pays you as you hold it. And so Uniswap, its TVL is massive because that's a measurement of the total amount of money. It's also a way to think about it, not just how much money is being put on it, but also like, is this being adopted? Are people using it? If there's money on it, people are using it. And if there's a lot of money on it, people are using it in a big way. And that, to me, as an investor, the reason why I would look at something like TVL is to understand, is this growing? Is it getting adoption? Or is it dying, right? And if it's not getting adoption, if it's dying, then it's probably not something I want to invest in. Or if the markets are really, really, really weak, it's really good to look at TVL. You can go to a site like DeFi, DEFI, Llama, LLAMA, and you can start to keep your eyes on TVL. And there are coins right now I've been looking at where, as Bitcoin goes down, typically too does TVL, but there are DeFi protocols out there where Bitcoin's going down, but their TVL's going up. So even though the market is red and bearish, more and more people are actually using it. That's a fantastic coin, potentially, not always, potentially, to be scooping up in a bear period, because you're like, oh, the prices are going down, but the fundamentals are getting stronger. And that means that if the fundamentals are getting stronger, eventually they're going to grab a price and pull it up with it, right? Those are where you find really, really, really good opportunities, potentially, but not always. There are other things to be looking at with coins as well that can affect that. But that's a totally different topic. But I hope that helps answer everybody's question on what is DeFi, what is it replacing, what it actually is. Basically just a bank or an exchange on the blockchain, made cheaper and far more accessible. And TVL is a measurement of the amount of money being used in those things.
Very well said. So to summarize the acronyms, DeFi, decentralized finance, TVL, total value locked. And to be clear, crypto replaces intermediaries like banks, not just in finance, but can help us replace intermediaries in almost every industry where a human is relied upon to do a job that a piece of computer code could do better. Kind of the way we rely on calculators to do math. you don't have to worry that the calculator is going to give you a different answer because you can trust the programming or just verify it. You know enough math to verify if your calculator is giving you a wrong answer. And if calculators around the world were giving wrong answers all the time, we would fix it. That's very much how crypto works. And we'll replace those human intermediaries in every place where a computer can do it faster, better. And if you want to learn about this, we're live Monday through Thursday. But we also have the Discord server at discord.gg/riseup. If you're trying to learn about crypto, one of the best things you can do is get into a community of other learners. It accelerates your learning journey, and it'll help you stay safe because none of this stuff is too hard to learn. But you can see Will has a lot of experience. He's spent a lot of time here looking at this stuff, and most of it really is just experience, is showing up for a couple minutes at a time here and there over time, and getting the benefit of other people's knowledge. You don't have to figure everything out yourself. And the other thing I'll say is if you want to learn about this stuff in a classroom setting in like a focused 0 to 60 way, I want to recommend you check out the Crypto Quick Start course. We have one coming up this Sunday. I'm trying to do it every Sunday, have a classroom for people where you can learn live in a from the beginning sort of way how to get started safely in cryptocurrency, even if you never invest any money, to understand what it is and why it matters. But especially if you're going to invest your time or your money, how to do it safely. You can find that. You can find the Discord. You can find all of our links for this show at theriseupmorningshow.com. We would really love to see you in the community. And if you've never used Discord before, it's free to get in there. We have lots of tutorials and many friendly people who'd love to help you.
Yeah, I saw two other questions in the comment section too. One by Sneak Attack. Is there any way to see the volume of Bitcoin transactions for practical purposes like purchases? You can't break it up to see like, hey, was this used for purchases or just like used to be sent back and forth to people, right? Maybe it's just being sending from one wallet to another. It's not necessarily a purchase, but it's a transaction. If you want to see that, you can go to something like Dune Analytics, Dune. Dune Analytics is a good tool for that. I'm trying to think of other tools. You can go to, if you can just go into Bitcoin, you can go into Google and type in Bitcoin transactions, find charts that way. And you can also type in Bitcoin Block Explorer, and you can see all the transactions. You can type that into Google yourself, or you can go to a site like coinmarketcap.com or coingecko.com. Yeah. Go to Bitcoin. It's going to be at the top of the screen. Click it. And then in the bottom left, there'll be like, oh, here's the Bitcoin Block Explorer. Click that, and then you'll get to see like all the live transactions. So do that or go to Dune Analytics. And there are other sites that offer that as well.
And real quick, let me just piggyback on you to say, I know what you mean by practical uses. Like you're talking about, are people paying other people real world dollars like that they convert to dollars or cash out? But Bitcoin, I would argue that every single use of Bitcoin is practical, starting with its first inherent use that people who validate the transactions, process the transfer with their computer's energy, get compensated in Bitcoin. And they're not going to want to sell it for less than it cost them to use that energy. So that is the first most practical purpose of Bitcoin, is it creates a sort of demand for itself and a price that will continue to increase over time based on a set of rules that do not change. And I would argue that's eminently practical. It represents power, energy, stored value. Yep. What were some of the other questions, Will?
Well, another question I saw was, what are some of the places where I can go and like, I mentioned that you can go and use decentralized finance to get loans, right? Mm-hmm. There are a ton of places you can go and get loans. They're called lending protocols. And so let's say you just use Coinbase, right? Yeah, that's what you use. Maybe you've never used decentralized applications. Let's say you're on Coinbase. You could get the Coinbase wallet and you can start going on chain. And what you can do in the Coinbase wallet is within the Base ecosystem, right? That's where you'd want to be because it's cheaper than Ethereum. Base is just a scaling solution for Ethereum made by Coinbase that makes it faster and cheaper, right? So obviously you want fast and cheap, so go use that. And within the app, you can then go to a protocol called Moonwell, Moonwell. It's the largest lending protocol on Base. And you can go and you can actually loan out your own cryptocurrency and earn interest on it, or you can go and you can borrow cryptocurrency on that kind of a project. However, if you like Solana, let's say, there are a ton of lending protocols there. I think Camino or Jido, one of those is a staking platform. But
Jido is a staking platform, and Jupiter's sort of an all-in-one.
Yeah, that's true. So if there are other blockchain ecosystems you're interested in and you want to find this stuff yourself, go to DeFi Llama. I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
DEFI.
I showed it on the screen.
Okay. LLAMA, just in case anyone wasn't here for that. Go to DeFi Llama. Go to the ecosystem you're interested in, like Solana or Avalanche or what have you. And then you can start to find who is the largest lending protocol. It'll be labeled. And you go, okay, cool, that's the largest lending protocol. Cool, I'll go use that. Yeah.
And Will, I actually have an example because everyone wants to know about Arrow. I thought it'd be fun if we could do a walkthrough example using the tool DeFi Llama, just to show people how we might do a comparative analysis of, say, Arrow's market cap to something like, I don't know, Pancake Swap or another leading DEX like Jupiter. So we're at DeFiLlama.com. And for anybody who wants to know how to navigate the site, you've got this really helpful little bar at the left where you can look up different metrics. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. This is reporting data for different blockchain networks. At their core, what blockchains are is networks. So you can look at all of the networks, but we're going to go over to the one that says base because on the base network is where the project we're interested in looking at lives. When you click on an ecosystem like this, you'll see sort of an overview report at DeFi Llama, a little chart that shows you the TVL or total value locked over time, a couple of other metrics that are important to know. And then you can scroll down to see a list of specific companies, protocols that make up all these numbers. Base is like the umbrella underneath which all these companies operate. And if you look right here at the top is Aerodrome, and I'll just read the numbers quick, and then I'm going to kick it over to you, Will, just to put these in context for us and tell us what you think about them. So Aerodrome Finance is a DEX, which is an acronym that stands for Decentralized Exchange. The total value locked is currently $680 million. This is up 24% in the last 7 days. Looks like you can see a few more things. And of course, we can sort this here, but I think this is enough to be going on because, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably going to talk a lot about TVL. I'm going to open up Aerodrome just so we can see what the price and market cap are too, because people always want to know that. Right now, the market cap is $408 million and the token price is 66 cents. And by the way, I'll tell people who don't know. If you're curious about how the price of a cryptocurrency token is calculated, like how do they get to that 66 cents? What they've done is they've taken this number, the market cap, the amount of money that's in the pot, if you will, all the people who've changed their dollars or other cryptocurrencies for this token, 408 million, and divided it by all the tokens that are currently circulating. This gives us a price of 66 cents per token. If we put 2 times more money in the pot, then this price would double. If we put 100 times more money in the pot, this price would increase 100-fold. So when you hear people talk about 2x, 3x, what they're really talking about is an increase in the market capitalization that leads to an increase in the token price. Will, what do you think? 66 cents at a market cap of $408 million, based on the role Arrow plays and what's happening right now, what do you think is a sort of short-term price target for this, or maybe a medium-term, long-term? Can you extrapolate a little what you think about this particular protocol?
Well, it just depends on the timing in the markets. Like if Bitcoin turns green, Aerodrome should do well for one reason and one reason alone, if you want to boil it down to, which is that it's the most important piece of infrastructure on Base, and Base is growing a lot. It's growing a lot because it just gets the ability to have users from Coinbase be fed directly to it. So it's a very easy onboarding, right? More people on there, more people using, more people buying. Good for the asset, right? So that's only if Bitcoin remains green. If Bitcoin goes red, every altcoin goes red, right? No matter how important something is to a growing ecosystem. Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. When trying to think of a price target, though, what you want to do is you want to find a similar project to Aerodrome and how it performed in a past bull market, like a full bull market. So Aerodrome is a decentralized exchange. So you want to find other decentralized exchanges from the last bull market, like Uniswap or a PancakeSwap.
I've got the numbers for PancakeSwap if you don't.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because PancakeSwap is a very good comparison. The reason why it's better of a comparison than Uniswap is because PancakeSwap was made by Binance. Binance is the world's largest centralized cryptocurrency exchange. That's a perfect comparison for us because Aerodrome is the #1 decentralized exchange. It is the PancakeSwap of Base, which was made by Coinbase, the second largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world and the largest in the United States and in the Western world, and probably will be the largest eventually. So that's a perfect example. So if you go and you look at PancakeSwap, you can go and you can, just with the price action, you can see just how many multiples it did. And you can just kind of take that and go like, okay, cool. If PancakeSwap from top to bottom did, whatever it is, you said you have it up, Evan?
Yes, the all-time high market cap for PancakeSwap was $6.9 billion in May 2021. So about a 16x from where this price currently is. 6?
Yes.
15x. About a 15x from $408 million.
Yeah, so a 15x from here. And then you have to ask yourself the question, okay, and that's assuming a regular 4-year cycle. Assume that if you don't know a 4-year cycle, that just means like Bitcoin's going to go up for another year and a half or so, essentially, right? And when Bitcoin has done that in the past, Bitcoin has reached new all-time highs, much higher market caps, and that has caused altcoins to reach higher market caps than before. So under this thought process, you should think that Aerodrome should do even better than that 15x. Now, a lot of you might be getting super, super excited about that. And I want you all to know, I am bearish on the market. I think that Bitcoin is still going to sell off. So what I want you to take from that is not to just have me make you sad. It is just, I want to tell you that the potential of something to go up can be really, 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 really good, but there are much larger trends in the investing world. Altcoins are beholden to what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is beholden to what the global economy is doing, even more so now than previous cycles, because it's plugged into the ETFs. It's plugged into companies like BlackRock, who are very much so puppeteers of the global economy, right? And Bitcoin is now another tool for them to use. Will make sad, no like sad. But so, just because you find an altcoin and the potential is great, don't pigeonhole your sight. Don't put blinders on yourself to look just at that. Take off the blinders, pick up your head, pick it out of the sand and go, okay, like what else is going on? Like, I have this amazing plant that could grow, but are we trying to plant it in a desert right now? Is it going to die? Or are we planting it in a bountiful environment where the economy's strong, money printer is going, brrr, they're printing money, and we're seeing some strength on charts, right? Those things are happening and not happening and debatable, right? The economy is still strong. Interest rates are about to be cut, which means, global liquidity should rise. There's some good things coming, but also some potentially very scary things coming, which could very well be hinted at this week. So that is just my advice to you guys.
Yeah, and the other thing is, that's someone asked, so how can you show us how to make profits? There is no such thing as like a one-size-fits-all magic bullet investment. There are things that are more or less risky, and some things may be a better fit for some investors than others. If you're somebody who needs to, make money quickly or you're not going to make it, probably the best investment would be a W-2 job. If you have a long time frame, then maybe you can be a little riskier with your money at first. Or you can just be conservative and invest in things you feel are more guaranteed to make a return for you. Crypto, historically, is a very volatile asset class. And like Will said, there are some patterns that people have identified, but because it's such a new segment of the investment industry and a new industry period, even the data that we have, it's like 12 years old, guys. It is not enough data to make conclusive predictions about. So the best thing you can do is spend some time with people who've been here a while, spend some time with the data in places like DeFi Llama, and watch the news when you have the time to before you invest so that you can start to get to know these things. Then it'll be less like you're throwing darts at a board the way a gambler might with a blindfold on, and more like you're practicing darts. You're training your muscles. You're getting to know the way that these tokens behave. You're getting to know the key players and projects in the crypto markets. You'll start to get a better understanding for the kind of investments that would be right for you and how to safely move in and out of them. Will, I don't know about you, but I am always amazed by how many people I meet who have $1,000 or more invested in cryptocurrency and don't know how to turn it back into cash. They don't know how to cash it out. And I'm not shaming those people, but that is a skill. If you're going to invest at that level, you absolutely should know before you spend money. You don't want to be trying to figure that out while the market is actively crashing, right? So,
yeah.
spend some time here and learn a little bit.
Yeah, so a couple things I want to address here in the comment section. One by the realist, the other by Nita. So the question by the realist is, to avoid having to pay large tax amounts, what's the proper exit strategy? Ideally, assuming you're in the United States, you want to hold an asset for a year or longer to be in long-term capital gains tax. So instead of paying, roughly 30% or so, or 34%, then, or actually higher. What's there? It's a range.
I thought it was 30.
It is, unless you have larger amounts. But yeah, roughly 30% for short-term capital gains tax. But if you hold for a year, it's 15% or 20%. Yeah. Oh no, it's the short-term capital gains tax that changes. I forget. I'm having a brain fart right now. Anyway, regardless, if you hold for more than a year, your short-term capital gains tax is way better than if you're doing short-term trading. So that's one thing. Another thing to do to pay less taxes, and this is why it's not always a bad idea to sell a position if it's not profitable, if you made profits earlier in the year, because you can, what's it called? I was about to say wash trading. It's not wash trading, that's illegal. It is.
I would call it a wash trade though. Like, you're, I don't know what the proper term for it would be. That's
tax loss harvesting.
That's right, tax loss harvesting.
Yeah, so the thing is let's say you made $100,000 in profits. Hey, amazing.
Way to go.
And then let's say you also have a position that's down $50,000, right? We're just picking large round numbers here. So the thing is you now owe taxes on those $100,000, right? Well, let's say you had a $50,000 loss. You can take that $50,000, knock it off your $100,000, and now your taxable profit is only $50,000 instead of $100,000. So if it's a short-term capital gains tax, the $100,000 you'd be paying $30,000. However, now it's just on the $50,000, so your short-term capital gains tax is roughly $16,000, $17,000, $16,500, roughly right around there. So, much less. So that's one thing you can do as well. But overall, you want to be selling everything in profit, ideally, unless you have to, right? I did that earlier this year. I took advantage of tax loss harvesting. But ideally, hold on to things for a year. Now, the question by Nita, is Arrow the same as MetaMask? No, they are very different things. So Aerodrome is a decentralized exchange, right? It's a Morgan Stanley or a Fidelity or a BlackRock on the blockchain, right? Or a bank on the blockchain. MetaMask is a wallet. It is a wallet that can be on your phone. It's a wallet that can be on your browser, your internet browser, your Chrome, your Internet Explorer, if you're using Internet Explorer. And that's what's called a hot wallet. If you see references to it, a hot wallet is MetaMask. MetaMask is a hot wallet is a place where you can put cryptocurrencies and then go and use something like an Aerodrome. You need a wallet to be able to access an Aerodrome. So they're not the same thing, they're different.
Yeah,
right?
and it's not the only hot wallet. Any wallet that lives on the internet where your private key is online, exposed to the internet, is referred to as hot. If a wallet is cold, that means the private key it holds for you is never exposed to the internet. And two other important terms to know with regard to wallet are custodial and non-custodial. Some hot wallets are custodial, meaning another person or company is the custodian, they are the keeper. of your private key. So you probably use a username and password to access your assets. An example would be Coinbase, the app. If you go to Coinbase, you log in with a username and password, and you may have a seed phrase that you wrote down one time, and you can do some things to look at what your private key is. But if you ever lose your username and password, you're able to recover your account because Coinbase has a copy of your private key. And they take a lot of practices and make a lot of guarantees to you about what they will or won't do with that, how they secure it, etc. But in crypto, we have a saying, not your keys, not your crypto. If Coinbase decides they don't like what you're doing, if their terms and conditions change, if somebody with the law wants to have them stop your trading, they can do it. There are all kinds of things that maybe their servers go down and you can't ask them to sell the crypto you are entitled to on their platform. Whereas a non-custodial wallet is a wallet where only you have a copy of the private key. Therefore, it is incumbent on you to take care of that key. If you lose it, you'll lose access to your crypto forever. But also, you don't have to rely on anyone anywhere else to facilitate the transfer of assets for you. If you want to sell Bitcoin, you can sell Bitcoin anytime you can access, a computer for the most part. You can do it some other ways too, but most people. So it's good to have a blend, or at least an understanding of the options available. And if you want one, I actually have done like 3 or 4 videos on hot wallets, cold wallets, non-custodial versus custodial, and the wallet strategy I recommend if you want to keep your crypto secure. The best, simplest way, using hot and cold storage. Will, can I kick this question back to you about why are we so bullish on Arrow? You sort of iterated this again. Yeah, there's a million DEX platforms. So why do we like this one? Why do we think this one has a good future?
Yeah, well, let's expand that away from Aerodrome and talk about why. The question was like, why do you like the new one? The new one hints. We're going to pull away from Aerodrome, and we're going to get a little bit more nuanced right now with something that will absolutely help you as a cryptocurrency investor. Right? It's getting a little bit more into the alpha, if you will. I hate it when people say that. But we're getting into the alpha, guys. This is real alpha. Anyway, the reason why we like newer applications or newer cryptocurrencies, right? Because we're looking at new cryptos as investments, is for a couple of reasons. First of all, technology in this space moves super, super, super quickly. So every bull market to bear market, by the time the bear market is ending, we're getting to a bull market. There are brand new sets of technology that make these new exchanges faster, cheaper, better interfaces, more features, different ways to make money, to use different types of finance from the traditional world being brought to the decentralized world. And the products become more competitive and better. And what they end up doing is these newer projects, because they have better technology, faster, cheaper, better, more options, they steal market share from the old decentralized exchanges. Not that those decentralized exchanges go away. Like Uniswap's been around for forever. Aave's been around for forever. They move, they adapt, they do things, they still do their job, but those new ones eat market share. And if you are able to get into something that can steal that market share early, that can be a very large, profitable position for you, right? So that's one reason why we like new ones. Another reason why we like new applications more in general, and then I'll talk a little bit about Aerodrome specifically, new applications in general, is if you have a cryptocurrency that's gone through maybe one bull bear run and then maybe even a second bull bear run, most of the people who ever bought that coin bought at the high levels. The high levels are where the volumes are always largest, which means you have had a lot of people, if they didn't sell already, by the time price starts moving up again, are wanting to get out so badly that it's harder for the price to go up because it keeps getting swatted down by people who are like, oh my God, my position's almost neutral again. I've been down for 2-3 years. Get me out of this, right? So that's something else as an investor why we like newer coins as compared to older coins. And the last thing I'll mention about Aerodrome specifically is Aerodrome is the key piece of infrastructure for Base. It is the decentralized exchange for Base. It is what provides access to liquidity for like all of the applications built within Base. And the reason why we like Aerodrome is because we like Base. So why do we like Base? We like Base because it's made by Coinbase. We like that because Coinbase has a incentive, a financial incentive. Base makes Coinbase money. Fees generated on Base hit Coinbase, a publicly traded company whose number one goal is to provide value to shareholders, top line revenue. So Coinbase, who is one of the largest and the fastest growing centralized cryptocurrency exchange in the world, is financially incentivized to push their customers onto Base. And no matter what they are using on Base, they are using Aerodrome behind it because Aerodrome is the market maker on Base. It's what's providing liquidity. It's making, it's the key piece of infrastructure. So that is why we like Aerodrome, because it is early. It doesn't have a bunch of salty bag holders from the past. And it's the key piece of infrastructure that should see a ton of growth pushed to it by Coinbase, who is financially incentivized to do so. So we as an investors can believe with an incredibly high degree of confidence that new users will be pushed through that funnel into Aerodrome, and buckets of money will do the same.
Yeah, and just to give people a zoomed out perspective, Will mentioned that Coinbase is growing. They're not the largest centralized exchange, which is Binance, by a number of metrics, but Coinbase is really catching up fast. And in some ways, they've exceeded them. Coinbase has 100 million verified users versus Binance's 120 million. As of 2023, Bitcoin holds 1 million verified Bitcoin in custody for its customers. I heard their CTO speaking on a podcast the other day saying that it actually holds a little more than this. It's like 1.1 or something like that million Bitcoin, worth over $100 billion on their platform. And they are the backers, the providers. I don't know what the term is. The custodian is the term for many of the ETFs that have just been released in the United States. Not to mention, now they've got their own blockchain, which doesn't have its own token. The joke in our industry is that the base token is Coinbase stock, which is attracting users, retaining users. It's fast, it's cheap, it's built on top of Ethereum, which is arguably the most scalably secure network in the entire crypto space.
There's no arguing against it. Ethereum is the most secure platform.
I've heard some pretty compelling arguments that Bitcoin is more secure because the nature of proof of work makes it so.
It is. Sorry, I got a little. For anybody there. So Bitcoin is the most secure.
We're about to get nerdy, people.
Yeah, blockchain and not blockchain. Bitcoin isn't just the most secure cryptocurrency in the world. It is the most secure database that has ever existed, and it's a different technological framework, right? It's a different thing. Ethereum is the most secure proof of stake crypto. It's the most secure. In other words, it's the most secure platform cryptocurrency. It's the most secure network, if you will. The reason why I'm saying these words like platform or network is because it's a competitor like Avalanche and Solana and all these other things that make it easier for developers to come and use this network, Ethereum, to then build a bunch of other cryptocurrencies and decentralized applications on top of, right? So Ethereum is the most secure version of that in the world, and it is not debatable.
Yeah, I wouldn't debate it. I think you could debate which one is a more secure network overall. And I would suggest, if you're really nerdy like us, that you hear some of the perspectives on that, because they will help inform you about, how our space can scale. But just generally speaking, Coinbase, not only that, all the stuff I've mentioned before, but they just released their wrapped Bitcoin token, CBBTC. And as the world's number one custodian of Bitcoin, this gives them just a tremendous opportunity to give their retail and institutional customers access to do DeFi things with the 1 million plus Bitcoin tokens on their platform. Plus, they have the track record of being, I don't know, maybe Uniswap could argue they've been better, but I would say no one holds a candle, the most compliant company in the crypto space. And as far as Binance goes, at least in the US, they're not doing as well.
No. Well, they're not allowed to be. They're not allowed to service U.S. citizens.
No, they're not. And I'm just speaking reputationally here. If you're asking who's got a better reputation, for regulation in the US is Coinbase. So we're bullish on Arrow for all those reasons. But honestly, I'm just at this point, I am bullish on Coinbase and I am cautiously concerned about them. You know, I am kind of a decentralization maxi. I get that a lot of people who work at Coinbase are, you know, crypto people at heart. But I do get concerned when any one group or company has a lot of power like that. I'm glad it's them.
Yeah.
I appreciate what they do, but you know, we got to keep our eye on it as a community and figure out how to keep power moving to the edges.
Yeah, well, the thing is there's great things about decentralization and bad things about it, and there are bad things about decentralization and great things about it. One of the things that's great about centralization is the speed at which you can move, and you can just pick a direction, organize people, and go. Whereas a decentralized approach is much harder to do that. That's why you don't see companies being decentralized. You see a CEO making decisions. Granted, there's a board above them, sure. But you see a CEO, unless they're private, and then it's just a CEO and founder ultimately making decisions saying, cool, no, us, a couple hundred people or a couple thousand people are going in this direction, we're doing it. You need that kind of direction if you're going to do things. Now, there are decentralized organizations too, and they're functional and they have their purpose, right? But if you are a pioneering company, you are trying to foster and incubate this new industry, you need a stronger centralized some groups to start punching through the way and clearing out the way for this decentralized group to kind of flow into other avenues. Like if it wasn't for Coinbase, you know, we wouldn't have as many friendly politicians because they are lobbying, which, you know, would be great if no one could do. But the fact of the matter is lobbying exists. So, you know, Coinbase is lobbying, trying to get more friendly things passed for cryptocurrency to be able to flourish in the United States, which everybody in the world would want. We want it to flourish everywhere. But disadvantage is too much power in the hands of a few, you know, does have a track history of there being some problems.
What could possibly go wrong, you know?
What could possibly go wrong?
Someone asked the question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just want to say again, I've said a lot of really bullish things about Aerodrome. I sold my Aerodrome. I do not hold Aerodrome right now. The potential of an altcoin can be amazing, but if the overarching market is bearish, that potential might not come to flourish, right? Yep. Maybe it takes time. So just be aware. I just want to add that little dose of realism back into everybody again.
Well, and like we were talking about the other night, just because a crypto company or token has a lot of utility, widespread adoption, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go up in price. And also, just because a cryptocurrency doesn't have utility or widespread adoption doesn't mean it won't go way up in price. We see that all the time.
Meme coins.
Yeah, and speaking of meme coins, speaking of altcoins, if you want to see how we do our own research on those kind of things, you got to hop on over to Rise Up After Dark. That's a Wednesday night stream. We just moved it to Wednesday. New time, same place, over at Will's profile. We research altcoins that the community suggests in the Discord server. If you haven't heard me talk about it yet, you really should check out the Discord server. It's Rise Up, discord.gg/Rise Up. And you can ask your questions there. We can have a continued conversation, get to know each other better. If you want to come up and ask us a question, you're welcome to do it. But we prefer to get to know people by interacting with them a little in the Discord server first, so we can keep our audience safe. And that was the other thing I wanted to say was I did see 1 or 2 guest requests come through. So if you're one of our friends and you wanted to come up, please tap it again. I wasn't ignoring you. I just missed it.
I saw the forbidden question.
Before we answer that, can I very quickly say, if you're curious about where to, because I want to talk about it. Okay. If you want to buy or sell cryptocurrency, especially, hang on, let me say one more commercial. If you're watching this on YouTube, we have a really active chat today. Thank you to everybody who's participating. But if you're feeling like this is a little crazy, that's the other reason you got to hop in the Discord. To the person who asked, where can I buy and sell these coins? You would do well to hop into that Discord server, discord.gg/riseup. But in the meantime, if you want to do some homework, look up centralized exchanges examples crypto and decentralized exchanges examples crypto. I would personally start at Coinbase. You can get a wallet there easy. You can get an account there easy. You can learn about cryptos. I wouldn't buy anything until you have a wallet, you've bought a little bit of Bitcoin and sold it for maybe a little bit of stable coin or to your connected bank account and learned how that works. That will be your first step in selling cryptocurrency tokens on exchanges. Okay, Will, you want to take it, man?
Do you know which question I'm talking about? The forbidden question?
I know which question you're talking about. I don't know if they had a follow-up and they worded it more specifically, but they just asked what about, which is my least favorite question, honestly, truly.
It was just, I want to hear their opinion about, it was Ripple and XLM. You mean XRP. Okay, so...
They might mean XLM because a lot of people lump XRP and XLM in together.
He said Stellar, and
yeah.
Ripple. Yeah. So he means XRP, the cryptocurrency. The company Ripple, which has two of the heads of were the founders of XRP, and you know it's XRP is used in the Ripple solution. And then Stellar. So we're not fans of Ripple XLM. I have spoken a lot over the years about why I don't like XRP as an investment. However, before I say the reasons why, if you are an XRP investor, I want you to make money so badly. I want you to make your money so badly. XRP investors have been so patient and just like been stuck in this 50 cent to 60 cent range for forever. And Ripple did amazing work for the entire cryptocurrency industry in their lawsuit against the SEC and have really given us a lot of breathing room because of that. So props to Ripple for that. And XRP people, I want you to make money. I just don't see the odds of that happening being very likely, which is why I don't buy it. Now, okay. With that being said, I don't like XRP because the interests of Ripple are not in line with the interests of investors. Now, for those of you who don't know, XRP is used in the Ripple solution. Ripple is a company that is trying to get adoption amongst all banking systems, right? To provide international cross-border payment that is faster and cheaper than what is offered today. And they do offer that. They do offer something that is faster and cheaper than what is mainly provided today. And how it works is you would take dollars, it would be converted in their solution to XRP, and then it would be converted into like euros on the other side to pay it from the US to somebody in Spain, let's say, right? It's faster and cheaper. So you go, okay, well, what's the problem there? The problem there is that Ripple wants XRP to be as stable in price as possible so that as that transaction happens, the same amount of money is put out at the end as was put into the beginning. So you want that to be as stable as possible. Now, that transaction only takes like 2 seconds, right? However, if the price of XRP goes down a little bit and you're a very, very, very large financial institution, if the payment you send through isn't the payment that needs to be received, you can get hit with a very large fine, right? So companies can't adopt that solution. So the bull case for XRP for such a long time is Ripple will get adopted by these financial institutions. It will increase demand for XRP. Price of XRP will moon. But financial institutions won't adopt a solution like that that is exposed to a volatile asset, right? So Ripple is also the largest holder of supply of XRP, and they add supply of XRP to the markets for the purpose of making it as stable as possible. So price goes up, they add supply, price it stabilizes it. So the incentive of Ripple and the incentive of XRP are not in line with each other between investors and company. That's one reason. There are other reasons too. I'll just mention two of them though. One is XRP was a really hot. When XRP first came out, everyone was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! This is amazing! Cross-border payments, it's faster, it's cheaper." That was like 6 years ago now at this point, and today there's way more competition. You just use stable coins. It's fast, it's cheap, and it's tied to $1. There isn't any volatility. There's some volatility, actually, a little bit if you look at it, but not as much as XRP. So why wouldn't you just use a stable coin? Also, Visa, the world's largest international cross-border payment company, is building their own solution on Solana. And the big competitor of the world that Ripple's trying to replace, Swift, also partnered with Chainlink to make their services faster, better, and cheaper. So since XRP first came out, its competition has really exploded and has become better. But I see Ripple Labs did release a stablecoin. And again, a stablecoin is a cryptocurrency that's tied to $1. So it's $1 for forever, hopefully. Now, not always. And the Ripple Labs stablecoin came out, and you go, okay, cool. And And a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to have the banks buy XRP to then get the stablecoin because the stablecoin was built on Ripple's blockchain. No. So Ripple has announced that they will be providing the stablecoin directly to their financial partners, and people who want access to the stablecoin will do so through a regular exchange, like how you get USDC or USDT today. So there is no buying of XRP to then get the stablecoin. There is no extra demand generated to get XRP. And they haven't said this, but they absolutely unequivocally are going to replace XRP in that solution where a fiat currency, the dollar,
100%.
gets converted into a cryptocurrency, which then gets converted into the euro. It will be replaced with a stablecoin because now you have a faster, cheaper solution for institutions with no volatility. It solves the problem. So XRP is toast in my mind. And I know you asked about Stellar, but I had too many things to share. There are just so many holes for XRP to become this monumental asset.
Yeah, exactly. I can cover Stellar. I'm glad to do it. And just some numbers for context. The competitive landscape of money transfer, that's a huge egg to crack. But right now, in crypto land, the number one competitor is Tether. It's used to facilitate around $50 billion in daily transaction volume on the Tron network alone. So that's more than even Visa, which is at 42 billion a day. The SWIFT system that Will mentioned has now integrated Chainlink, big nail in the coffin, by the way, processes a daily average of around $5 trillion. So while XRP might have formed a partnership with a couple of banks in Japan or something like that, the numbers by comparison are just like these competitors are. It's not Verizon and T-Mobile. Okay. It's like Henry Ford and everybody else. And the year is 1910. You know what I mean? It is staggering. It's almost difficult to overstate how much ground they have to overtake.
Yeah, sorry, Evan. I didn't mean to talk over you.
Go for it. Interrupt. You're good.
Before the comment section goes by, Carlos, I saw your comment. What about the comment was, what about BRICS nations? They're using XRP as we speak. That was debunked. That's not true. You can go and Google that yourself, and you'll find that it was false. The BRICS nations are not using XRP. Whenever we get an adoption story for any cryptocurrency, most of the times they're false rumors. they are. It's just like designed to get or it's like people get really excited in the community. They take it. Maybe one person is like, oh, I think they're doing this. Or there's like a news story. Someone makes an article out of it, spreads on Twitter. Articles are made, blah, 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 blah. And then it gets debunked later. So no, the BRICS nations are not using XRP. There was one other question too. I don't remember what it is. Oh yeah. Question by Neil. Why won't banks just make their own? It makes no sense to me. So banks do love to make their own stuff. They also build their own stuff. They also partner. So I've worked with banks in the AI machine learning world. I come from AI machine learning, 7 years of experience there, and just corporate IT in general as like a sales rep and consultant. So not like an IT person myself. But so like Morgan Stanley was a client of mine. They build their own stuff. They buy stuff. They partner. They do everything, right? But at the end of the day, they are forced to do certain things to make sure they are compliant with both domestic and international regulations. And currently, these financial institutions are forced to do things certain ways to be compliant with international regulations. And using SWIFT is enforced by international regulations put in place by the United States. So you have to use it in order to do business with most of the world.
So I also want to say,
world, I'm talking about the West, but like in the financial aspect, that's most of the financial world, with the exception of China and Japan and Korea.
So we can wrap this XRP XLM thing up with just a pin here that'll answer another question. XLM, like XRP, has just failed to compete by gaining the kind of adoption and traction in the financial sector that it had hoped for. like XRP, XLM was initially designed for cross-border payments. It's been around the space for a long time, and they're trying to rebrand themselves right now. They've got a real interesting emphasis on their wallet, on some of the cool features it has, but there are just assets with more liquidity, more institutional backing, more retail use, and so it's faced some hurdles for adoption. I want to address this rumor that XRP will be backed by gold and XLM will be backed by silver, because this is something you might hear if you're on TikTok looking to learn about cryptocurrencies. The idea that these currencies will eventually be backed by, or that they're being worked on being backed by precious metals like gold and silver, these have been widely circulated, but they are rumors. There is no factual basis for these claims. It's been debunked a couple different times by credible sources in the crypto space, and neither XLM, or I should say Stellar, nor Ripple have announced or even indicated any official plans to peg their respective tokens to precious metals. If that is going to happen, you will likely hear about it from an official source first. You probably won't hear about it first on TikTok, especially not from somebody who has like figured it out. Okay? If somebody is trying to tell you something is true, but they can't verify it for you, that person is not your teacher. Don't spend any more time or attention on them, okay? Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Will, what do you think? Should we move on from XLM, XRP? I feel like we've beaten this horse, but I don't want to.
We've beaten this horse. There's just a lot to talk about. I'm not trying to like be mean towards it, but like, you know, it's just such a large community, large market cap coin, and there just aren't a lot of pathways I see for it. So I feel like there's just like a lot of talk about it. But yeah,
and again, you're not gonna. There's so much time and attention you could spend learning other things that are more certain or
that are new verifiable and trends and got more going on right now in the space. There's so much more that you could be spending your energy and time on in the crypto space. That's right. You're not going to miss out. It's just a better investment of your time.
Yeah. What do we think? We've had a couple questions asking us about Solana, and then we had another question about the Polygon Matic migration. I would love to kick it to you to do, just a breakdown of what are the prospects for Solana. And I would really like to, before we go, I would love to touch Foregone 989. God bless you, Foregone. Real tenacious in the chat, trying to find a 4X before the recession. And harping on, can Arrow do it? Can Arrow do it? So maybe we can just have a discussion about, recessions, how they're hard to predict, or what people can be doing to make the most of their time if they want to make money in crypto. Yeah, is that a fine order? Can we start with Solana?
Yeah, we can do that, and I'll try to hit them quick because I don't have a ton of extra time I can spend here. Everybody, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But yeah, so
it's about that time to take our horses in the sunset. So go ahead.
Yeah. So Solana, just like general thoughts about it. Well, when you're looking to make investments in the cryptocurrency space, you're going to immediately probably go to social media first, which you probably shouldn't do, but a lot of people do, right? We're on social media all the time. We're going to run into it. You're going to hear this coin and that coin, and this is blah, 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 blah. Most of that is all garbage. You got to sift through that. And what you do is get away from social media, and you have to look to see where the money is going. Like, what ecosystems are the money going into? Is the money going into the Ethereum ecosystem? Is it going into the Solana ecosystem? Is it going into the Avalanche ecosystem, right? Take a look at those, like we mentioned earlier, the platform cryptocurrencies, and look to see where the money goes. Because if you're going to make a 4x or a 10x or a 50x or a 100x, you need to go to an ecosystem that has a bunch of money in it. The word for that is liquidity. Right? You need a lot of liquid cash flowing around the ecosystem. Now, Solana from 2023 through to early 2024 had a ton of money flowing into it. And you could watch that on chain. And one thing you could do is, again, you can measure that by looking at TVL. We were talking about it before. Go to the site DeFi Llama, DFILLAMA, and you can just go to Solana and you can watch the money rolling in, and it just just exploded, right? And so you could have seen that growth happening from the beginning. Go, oh, money is starting to accelerate at the pace at which it's flowing into Solana ecosystem. So if I want to benefit off of that, I could invest in Solana itself, or you can go and look into the altcoins within Solana. The reason why Solana meme coins did so well, the reason why Jupiter has done well, the reason why a lot of the Solana ecosystem did well is because money was flowing into it. If money's there, it can circulate amongst the other altcoins. So find the ecosystem that has a lot of money going into it, and then go and find the key pieces of that ecosystem that are really benefiting. Like, what trends are doing hot? Is it AI coins, meme coins, DeFi coins? Are there certain things with really big competitive advantages? Are there certain things that are capturing a larger percentage of that money flow? And then you start to find some altcoins that can make you a ton of money, right? And the reason why Solana has done so well is because it kind of benefits from like a decentralized and centralized approach. Because Solana does have a company that supports it, the Solana Foundation, that has a ton of developers building on it. But in short, it's very fast, it's very cheap, and it's easy to use when you're on chain. The interfaces of the applications and the wallets are very, very easy, and attracted a lot of people to come in and start using it. As people used it, more people brought money, price of Solana went up, price of Solana altcoins went up, number went up. That's the best type of marketing you can have. And then more and more people, it was an avalanche effect, right? A snowball effect, I should say. And that's why Solana did well. And then something to look forward to with Solana is at the end of this month, you have something called Solana Breakpoint. It's basically a conference that the Solana Foundation puts on. So they'll make announcements about what they've worked on, what's coming down the pipeline, maybe some partnership announcements, new projects, all that kind of stuff. But they're also going to make some kind of announcement on Solana Fire Dancer. Fire Dancer is the name of an upgrade that is coming to Solana by the end of this year, or maybe it'll get pushed, maybe it'll get delayed, and it'll be some point next year, right? These things happen. And it's going to make Solana even faster and cheaper, to the point where it's faster than Visa, which would be big, which means now it is the enterprise solution where companies can come and build on, and companies are already experimenting on it. So that's why we like Solana. That's why Solana's done well. That's why Solana has really been at the forefront of a lot of people's brains in the crypto space. And really it was able to do that because it was fast, it was cheap, but the interfaces were really easy to use. The applications were easy to use. And if you have something that's fast, cheap, and easy to use, you get adoption, you know? That's it. I don't know. Those are my thoughts on Solana. I like Solana. If we are in a bear market right now and we have like 6 months of lows, I expect Solana to be one of the first coins that starts recovering alongside Bitcoin. You know, I think Solana is great.
My thoughts exactly. I don't know that I could really add anything in the interest of your time, because I'd love to have you here. Let's answer that question generally speaking. I think you did a really good job there talking about how we get news, how we pay attention to things. But let's just be focused with that question. If you want to make money in the crypto space, you want to pay attention, but not all signals that you get are created equal. Will already indicated that DeFi Llama is a great source if you want to follow hard numbers. But let me just add a couple of others. I would say Coinbase is a great source of news and education. Recommend coinbase.com/learn, especially if you're just getting started, because they take you through kind of from 0 to 60 and get you connected to good information and opportunities to learn about tokens that are up and coming, new, etc. Obviously, the Rise Up Morning Show is a great resource, but cultivating a social network of people that you trust can be helpful. And I would recommend the Discord community. The best, fastest way to learn anything is to join a community of other people who are also trying to learn it. Not all communities are created equal. There are many communities where people are just there to try and sell you something, or they're biased towards a particular set of information. Look at the lasers. Whoa. But we have people at all levels of experience who work in the industry, who have been here for years and really don't want anything from you except to help. It's a great place to share, questions, information, scam alerts, things like that, because unfortunately there are a lot of scams in this space, even in our space. I block scammers from our space all the time. Will, what are some of your favorite places to look for information? And I don't know, maybe we can summarize some of our different ways, layer ones, DeFi plays, or whatever that we think are good ways for people to start learning about if they're investing time and money.
Yeah, sure. Also, by the way, we got a great comment for Banana Gun.
Yeah,
Banana Gun, bunches. Whoa! So good tools to use. You can get a lot of the tools that you need on if you go to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, basically they keep track of like prices and market caps and stuff. It's a good place to just kind of keep your eye on the market. If you go and you click on a coin, you want to go and you take a look at the left-hand side of it, scroll down. You're going to see things like, the Blockchain Explorer. You can click that and you can get a bunch of really good information, like how centralized is the supply. Or in other words, do like 10 of the wallets hold like 70% of the supply.
Yeah, is it Liberty Financial or whatever?
Is it World Liberty Financial? In which case, it's at the very least vulnerable to attack, where if one wallet gets hacked and dumped on the market, then the coin collapses. Or it's potentially what is called a rug pull, where the team's like, hey, come onto this project, it's so great. And then a bunch of money comes on, and then they sell like 70% of the supply and just like steal everybody's money, right? So those are heightened examples. You can get that there. Other good tokens to use, I really like Token Terminal. That's Token Terminal. And my favorite thing to do there is you can actually start to see how much revenue blockchain networks are generating. So you can go and see like how much revenue Solana is generating. And these are generated off of fees. That is another good indicator to you of, are people using this? Because if people are using it, they're paying fees. So like, is this coin getting adoption? But also, is this project generating revenue to keep paying their developers to keep the lights on and to keep adding and developing? If the revenue is low, odds are it's not going to keep up with the times. So that's Token Terminal. And then 2 other sites I'll give you guys. These are both really good for understanding what the inflation rate of supplies, because if like you have a token and it's getting inflated into oblivion, like a ton of supply is being added to it, you might not want to get into it. By the way, Aerodrome has a very aggressive supply increase, a very aggressive supply inflation rate. We're still bullish on it though, because we think the demand would eat that up so long as Bitcoin's green. But because of that, when Bitcoin's red, Aerodrome can sell off harder than just about anything else out there on the market. So, bit of a double-edged sword. But you can go and use token unlocks to do that, or you can use crypto rank. Either of those are great.
Just about to say it. I almost rugged you. That was beautiful. I would say too, if you're new and you're really trying to maximize where you pay attention using those resources, you should start by learning about, search this, layer 1 cryptocurrency. Layer 1 cryptocurrencies are infrastructural. They are the highways that people will use to transfer information and information that represents money back and forth. Examples include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and these are the least risky, the most well-established crypto projects. And when new ones pop up, if they can solve a need, it's a big need, and that makes them valuable companies. Layer 1s are good to understand, as well as, like Will and I have been talking about today, leading DeFi protocols, decentralized exchanges that live on those layer 1 networks. If you want to do some Googling, layer 1 cryptocurrencies and layer 1 DeFi protocols would be my Google searches for you today. Will, since I know you got to hop off soon, do you want to give a last thought, good joke, word of wisdom for folks today?
I just saw one question. If you live in the USA and you want to get access to coins you can't get access to, you need to get on chain. You got to get a wallet. If you're using Coinbase, get the Coinbase wallet. If you're using something else, you can use MetaMask or whatever. And you have to get on chain, right? You have to go use a decentralized exchange, like an Aerodrome or a Uniswap or Aave, any of these, right? And then you can get access to coins that exist in ecosystems that are not available on centralized exchanges, right? Other than that, I know there's the question about Polygon and Matic's migration. That's more so Alex has looked into that more than me. So when Alex
got
is
it.
here,
Don't fret.
You got it. All right, cool. And yeah, that's it, guys. I don't know. I would just say we've said a lot of really great things about some coins, some not so great things about coins, but sometimes a coin goes up in value, even though it's like total horseshit, right? Sometimes people just think it's funny and good vibes and price goes up a million%.
Yeah.
Another thing though is if Bitcoin rolls over, again, it does not matter how good an altcoin is, price goes down. Okay. So that's it. Everybody do good things, be good people, make a bunch of money. I got to hop off. Hopefully you guys can join the Discord. Would love to see you in there. riseupmorningshow.com. You can get the link, or you can get the link in the links on Evan's or my profile page. Also, if you guys haven't followed Evan, I would say hit the follow. Give this guy some follows. If you want to give me some follows, that'd be great too.
Obviously they do.
Yeah, obviously they do. I'd love to hang with you guys some more. But thanks for the engagement today, guys. The questions were great. I'm gonna hop off. Do good things, guys.
I'm going to give a couple more answers before we close down. Do be sure to follow Will, because he's one of your teachers. We love you, man. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
And it's important to follow us because there are a lot of scam accounts that will come even into this live and try to follow you. It's not as bad as if you go to someone like Calvin Hill's live. If you want to get 10,000 followers fast, go to Calvin Hill's live every day. I tell you what, you'll get 20 Calvin Hill accounts following you. But we will never DM you first. We are never going to ask you for money. We're never going to ask you how your trading is going, any of that stuff, okay? So that's why, it's not a vanity thing. It's helpful to follow us. And we like to, if you listen to the show, send us a message. We'll follow you back so that if you need to have a message thread with us, you can. But the best way to reach us is to get into the Discord at discord.gg/riseup. Now, I am going to answer this question about Polygon, the transfer to the Matic token. I'm glad to answer a handful of other questions too. So if you've got a few more rapid fire questions, leave them below. And let me tell you one more time, if you want to learn crypto live, 0 to 60, that we have a crypto quick start course. Most of the education that we do is totally free. The stuff we cannot scale to everybody, we charge for, and we try to make it as reasonable as possible. So it's a $50 course for 2 hours, plus you get the recording, you get all our notes, you get a bunch of homework, and it's, what is this stuff? Why does it matter? How do you get started safely? We teach it live. It's a Sunday. If you can't come live, you can get the recording for like $15. And if you're a premium member, this is somebody who is a premium member in our Discord. It's a monthly fee, like $9.99 to $19.99. You save more than the cost of membership on every course or coaching you get. It's really designed for people who want to accelerate their learning journey. But let me be clear, you don't have to spend $1 with us to learn crypto, starting here on the Rise Up Morning Show. And so that's my final part of the commercial. We're going to be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the only thing missing is you. I hope to see you there. I'll give you the links one more time before we go. But for Nita, my friend, let me tell you what's going on with Polygon Matic. They recently migrated their token from Matic to Pol, P-O-L. And it's part of a broader strategic initiative that they have to expand their capabilities and transition to a multi-chain network. They want to scale beyond just being a layer 2 solution, which means built on top of a layer 1 network. Remember, I told you to Google that? In this case, Ethereum, to scale to other layer 1 networks. It's called the Polygon 2.0 upgrade. And just for historical context and commentary, Polygon is one of those tokens, like Will said, that's been around long enough that many people have bought it and continued to hold it and are waiting to turn a profit. They're not attracting a ton of new users, though there is a lot of activity and interesting stuff happening on their chain. Most notably, recently, the addition of Poly Market, the speculative market for real-world events. But it's in alignment with their long-term vision to scale Ethereum. And if you are a Polygon holder, a Matic holder, and you're curious about what to do to upgrade your token if you need to take any action, the best place to go is to Polygon, their official Twitter account. Hey, what's going on, Tech CEO? Thank you so much. Beware, because there are scammers who will post bad links to get you to click something or give away control of your assets. But just head on over to the Polygon Twitter account. You can get all the information there. And if you need a link, let me know and we'll post it in the Discord. Okay? Wait, is that code for gambling speculative market for? Yes. Poly Market. You can Google it. You won't be able to use it if you're in the United States without a VPN. But it is a marketplace where you can use crypto to speculate and gamble on, for example, will the Chicago Bulls win tonight's basketball game? Or will Donald Trump win the election? Or even like, will Alex ever come back to the Rise Up Morning Show?
Hey, man.
Anything you might want to speculate on, and you can do it in crypto, and it's hosted on the Polygon network. One of the advisors for the project is Nate Silver, formerly of 538, statistician of fame and lore. And lots of people have been using it to predict lots of things. And it's obviously, prediction markets are not necessarily an indicator of what will happen, but they are a really good gauge when they are active of public sentiment. So you can tell, like a good poll, what people are thinking, how they feel. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Hold on just a second. The love of my life has entered the chat. What are you doing, baby? What? Tito died? I'm so sorry. He had a heart attack. Tito Jackson, a moment for you to remember all the joy and love you gave us. Oh, well, if I didn't have to go before, I'm going to have to go now. if you don't understand how big of a deal it is in our house, this is a Jackson house. Okay? Michael, Janet, Tito, we don't care. If it's you, Jermaine, anybody, we love you. We love your music. Our hearts go out to you. I'm going to have to go in just a second. And me? Does it look like I have pink eye? Honey, I'm doing a live show. And we're live. Okay. Let me answer your question, Foregone, I promise. This is the news you need. Before I go, I will answer you, Foregone. Absolutely. Thank you all for hanging out with me. And that's the best part of this live show is you guys. And the second best part of this live show is getting to do it from my house with the people I love. And even that I get to have Alex here on the soundboard when he can't be here, when he's sick.
Not ideal.
So if you see Alex in the Discord, be sure to wish him well. I know he will appreciate it.
And that's just bullshit.
But really, he will. Okay, so Foregone, what's your question? What's your question? Carol, I will message you in the Discord. Trump is supposed to be live tonight talking crypto. You should sing a quick song. I love your voice. You are so kind to say it. Am I saying XLM is worth less? Foregone, post your question one more time for me. And thank you, Nita. Anybody watching on YouTube, I'm so sorry. We have such an active chat. We'd love to have you here over on TikTok. And eventually, we will be coming to you. As we continue to upgrade the streaming setup, that is one of the things that will make the show more professional and better, is we'll be able to stream to multiple places at one time. We can expand our community of learners. I think that'll be a great day. Okay, here we go. Last question for the day. I'm going to take from Foregone 989. This is a good one. If Bitcoin goes to 80K, could Arrow go back to all-time highs before recession? The answer is yes, and also no. Foregone has been in the chat for a minute, and I really appreciate that you have continued to try and have a dialogue, because it's so hard to do when your chat is character limited, but this is such an important discussion for everybody listening. Foregone wanted to know, could Arrow reach its all-time high before the recession? Could Arrow do a 4x before its recession? Could Arrow do a 2x before its recession? Foregone, based on the way you're talking, I get the sense that you are really maybe looking to spend money before you're ready, by which I mean before you have conviction. The difference between investing and gambling is that one is something you're hoping to get lucky, and the other is a calculated decision based on information that has given you conviction. I have conviction, for example, about the future of Bitcoin because I understand how the Bitcoin protocol works. I understand that it is coded into the protocol that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin tokens. I understand the historical data that Bitcoin has grown in demand over time, that the network of people who secure that code has grown over time. It is arguably more secure than any bank that has ever been built, and possibly even any computer network, certainly more than Amazon or Facebook, the companies the entire internet trusts with their data right now. And as it continues to grow in demand and attention over time, and the supply is released slower and slower, it is like a tank of water that is emptying and more people want to drink. And the rate at which water comes out is slowing because the faucet is closing, and one day it will be gone forever. Okay? Because I understand that, unless something about that fundamentally changed, then Bitcoin will probably continue to increase in value. And this is why I have it set up to send a very, manageable amount of money every single day to buy more Bitcoin, because I have conviction in it. And if something changes, I know all the ways to stop that investment, to sell that investment, to move out of that investment into something I have more conviction in. Okay? I'm not gambling. I'm investing. Similarly, if you invest in Apple stock and you watch their quarterly releases, you keep up to date with sentiment around their products, you are investing. If you are just looking for the next 100x, if you're just putting money into tokens that you know nothing about, you're gambling. You can get lucky. You can make money that way, but that's all it is. It is only luck, okay? What I want to encourage you to do, because it's not helpful to ask, will this or that 2x, will this or that 10x, will it go up, will it go down? What is helpful is to spend time looking at what might make Aerodrome valuable. To spend time, as I said, researching layer one cryptocurrencies and then decentralized exchanges built on top of layer one cryptocurrencies so that you can understand how projects like Aerodrome have done in the past, the purpose that they have fulfilled, and learn how to access good information in real time about them so that you can learn for yourself whether or not Aerodrome is a good investment. We have reviewed for you today the potential it has based on past performance, comparing it to competitors like PancakeSwap. When PancakeSwap blew up in 2021, the market was different. It was the top of a cycle, but it was also the end of COVID. There was a lot more stimulation. Cryptocurrency and DeFi were much hotter narratives than they are now. Crypto's kind of taken a backseat to AI. So the market is different. Aerodrome is also different than PancakeSwap. It's not a perfect comparison. But based on where PancakeSwap was at the top of its market cycle, I personally have conviction that the price of Aero will probably reach an all-time high, much higher than it is today. Probably 10 times higher, especially based on how Coinbase is performing. Do I think it will happen before a recession comes? I have no idea. And personally, I don't think so, because all the economic indicators make us think that we're probably going to have a recession next year, maybe sooner. We might even be in the beginning of a recession right now. And in times like that, people are not going to flock to volatile assets like cryptocurrencies. So, building conviction for yourself. Instead of asking which investment is best, you should ask, what is the best investment for me? And if you're a comfortable, confident crypto user and you're like, Evan, you're talking way past me, I just want to know what you think is going to do a 4X, then what I would say to you, man, is if you understand how to swing trade and you feel comfortable doing it, that's a highly risky play. But if the recession is imminent, then that's probably the best way to do it in terms of somebody who understands what the tokens look like, what the charts look like. You can make money whether the market is up or down that way, but you are risking. You are risking a lot more. Trading with leverage would be a similar way to do it. How can you make 4 times your money? Trading with leverage. How can you lose 4 times your money? Trading with leverage. You see? The best way to build conviction is to get in a community of other people, to learn what they are learning, to hear what they are doing. And then instead of spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on this stuff, you will be spending an hour a day or less around thousands of people who are all spending an hour a day on this stuff. You have just accelerated your learning journey. Okay? That's the best thing you can do. Absolutely. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. If you need money now, then start a side hustle. Use the time you have when you're on the toilet, when you're cooking dinner, to read an article on Coinbase.com, to hang out in the Rise Up Morning Show Discord, and to educate yourself. Last thing before I go, I'll give you a couple more resources. Coinbase.com/learn, free resource to help you learn about crypto. If you like to listen to learn, and especially if you're like a level 1 or 2 crypto person, I recommend the Unchained podcast hosted by Laura Shin. It's a fantastic resource with the most timely and relevant guests. And then, of course, the Rise Up Morning Show Discord server. There are lots of great Discord communities full of investors at all levels of experience, but if you ask me, I think ours is the best. It is at discord.gg/riseup, and you can find all the resources related to this show at the riseupmorningshow.com. Foregone, I hope you don't feel like I'm picking on you. I know I was a little hard maybe there, but I hope that you found it helpful. I hope that you join us in the Discord, and I hope you come back to the show because we're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. The only thing that's missing is you. That's Rise Up, discord.gg/riseup. Okay, now before I go, give me a couple taps. Thank you for all the likes. They're totally free. Make sure to give me a follow. Watch out for any scam accounts. And then join me back here tomorrow. One more time, the links are theriseupmorningshow.com, discord.gg/riseup. And of course, if you want to buy a mug, there's only ever going to be 100 of this mug. Your coffee tastes better in this morning show mug. We're not going to try and sell you anything. No investments, except maybe a Rise Up Morning Show mug or a premium membership here and there. And if you want information on the live classes, then definitely check those out too. Theriseupmorningshow.com. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your questions are. And of course, thank you, my friends, for being the best part of what we do. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day. Until next time, my friends, Rise up.
I will absolutely die on this hill.